She couldn't force people to write the stories that she wanted them to write. So therefore, she left to get privacy so that she could write the stories in her...
January 2026 exploded onto the internet with a storm no one saw coming, as a fresh set of yacht photos emerged showing Meghan Markle in private circles she reportedly thought were long forgotten. This was not just another minor resurfacing of old gossip. These images are brand new, never-before-seen captures that instantly set social media ablaze. People weren't looking at recycled screenshots or fuzzy repeats from years past. This was raw, clear, and extremely high-profile material, and it sent the digital world into full meltdown mode within hours. What makes this leak hit even harder is what the images appear to reveal.
Where do you go from here? What do you become after this? You get the picture. Now, this is the reason why many people understand the marriage, shall we say, has hit one of those rocky...
Meghan in ultra-exclusive, high-security settings she has never publicly addressed or explained. Almost immediately, whispers from people connected to Middle Eastern high society began growing louder. They're claiming these photos match what they've quietly known for years about her pre-royal networking maneuvers, her early moves in spaces where influence and money dominate every decision. According to multiple sources tied to Gulf region elite networks, Meghan wasn't casually showing up to random events or parties. Instead, she was carefully building relationships in Monaco, across the French Riviera, and throughout the Mediterranean. Sources insist she was moving in spaces reserved for serious money and true power brokers. These weren't ordinary vacations. These weren't open social events anyone could stumble into. These were private, invitation-only gatherings on yachts and secluded estates, and the newly leaked images reportedly show Meghan alongside highly influential figures from Saudi Arabia and other wealthy nations. The implication is clear. This wasn't luck.
I knew that you wanted to go back to LA and that Canada was always going to be a pit stop. From the very beginning, this woman orchestrated leaving the royal family because all she's ever wanted in her life was to be an A-lister in Hollywood. She did not have the talent to become an A-lister in Hollywood. She was relegated to a D-list actress spot on a show called Suits that nobody in America had seen, but apparently, which Prince Harry liked.
It was strategic networking at a level most people rarely glimpse. And yet, until now, the public conversation has been almost completely silent about these connections. The timing of the leak has caused eyebrows to raise across online communities. Meghan is actively promoting a polished personal brand through lifestyle ventures and Netflix projects. And suddenly, this material resurfaces, stirring speculation and suspicion. Someone is clearly aiming to challenge the image she is selling to the world right now. The question blowing up comment sections everywhere is bold and risky. Who leaked these images? And the follow-up question is even more dangerous. What else might be waiting in the shadows?
The thing is, there have been lots of scandals which have never come out, I'm told. And the palace have been able to shut them down. So I think the belief is that they can shut these scandals down, and it's only when the scandals emerge that they have to put Plan B into practice. So, and I think if that's the case, then that could be very damaging if that's around.
Because if this much emerged all at once, insiders believe there's potentially far more evidence hidden behind closed doors. Once the images hit social media, the fallout was immediate. This wasn't the old yacht debates that people shrugged off years ago. This was fresh material, taken from private collections that someone quietly held onto for years until deciding to press upload. Once that happened, there was no turning back. The images show Meghan in Monaco and other Mediterranean hotspots during her pre-royal years, surrounded by extreme luxury. Private yachts, designer outfits, champagne flowing across decks worth tens of millions, and faces in the background instantly recognized by international business observers. Within hours, social media erupted into chaos. A new hashtag shot to the top. TikTok creators began dissecting the images frame by frame.
She did that on her own. Show me royals who have this kind of photo. What? See, the thing is, Meghan, if you need to Photoshop pictures, but then you get mad at your haters because we're calling out your Photoshopped pictures.
And Twitter users started connecting dots at lightning speed. These images spread rapidly because they depict a side of Meghan's life that's rarely discussed openly. Unlike previous blurry, ambiguous photos, these provide clarity. People can see the exact locations, the events, and the other attendees clearly. And now the conversation isn't about vague guesses, it's about serious questions regarding access, lifestyle, and influence. Everyone is asking, how did a struggling actress move in circles like this? Who opened those doors, and why were these connections kept quiet for so long? Sources tied to elite international networks claim these photos confirm exactly what insiders have been saying for years. According to them,
Meghan Markle, I think she was 35 or 30 when she came into the royal family. She'd had a life, she was an actress, she'd been married before, so she was pretty much clued up. And I think what's happened is she's come into the royal family and this archaic system has tried to control her and say, you will do this, you will do that, you will not go here.
Meghan was not just attending yacht events for fun. She was part of an established networking circuit, revolving around power, proximity, and positioning at the highest levels of global influence. One source who has operated in these elite environments explained it bluntly. These networks are about relationship building, polished appearances, traveling to high-security locations, attending exclusive events, and keeping absolute discretion about who you meet and why. This isn't casual socializing, it's top-tier networking where every interaction has a purpose and a payoff. During Meghan's struggling actress years, she reportedly fit this profile perfectly: unknown, ambitious, and suddenly appearing in ultra-exclusive international circles far beyond her reported income. People inside those circles insist that access like this doesn't just appear by chance. Introductions are facilitated, doors are opened, someone vouches for you, and a network decides whether you're useful or valuable. According to insiders, Meghan didn't get there by accident. Here's a detail mainstream outlets are avoiding entirely. These newly leaked yacht photos allegedly didn't come from outsiders or random fans.
I think she was scared of coming back to this country, and quite rightly, because the people of this country don't like the fact that she's stolen our prince. And she's literally brainwashed him, blinkered him, and tied him down to his Californian man.
Sources claim they came from someone inside the elite circles, someone with direct access, first-hand knowledge, and documentation of Meghan's networking moves. If true, this revelation changes everything. One insider choosing to leak these photos raises the question, what else might they be holding back? What other documents, images, or details exist about how Meghan quietly built her path to influence and opportunity? These photos reportedly place Meghan at private events where Saudi and Gulf state figures were present at the same locations and gatherings. Not random overlap, not coincidence. Same yachts, same facilitators, same closed networks used for decades to connect powerful global figures. The environments are tightly controlled. You don't just wander into private yacht gatherings alongside royalty and billionaires. Access is earned, selected, and vouched for by those who decide who's valuable to the network. What stands out is Meghan's comfort in these settings. Not awkward, not out of place. She looks like someone who understood the rules, expectations, and value exchanges of that world. Sources claim that during her yacht years, she developed ongoing networking relationships with individuals connected to Saudi and Gulf state elite circles. This wasn't just one-off meetings. It involved repeated travel, private events, and strict discretion about those relationships. That level of continuity indicates planning.
This is really bad security. This is all in a desperate bid for headlines and for Harry to say, oh, see, we need security even in the U.S. This is disgusting. They should be investigated.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's incredible how desperate Meghan Markle is to be compared to Princess Diana in a desperate bid to chase headlines. And her father was giving her money and car, and helping her get auditions. And I mean, what do you think? I mean, does it really just the money, or do you think it's fame?
Well, I mean, it's both, because if you think about it, you're not making that much on Deal or No Deal, right? But it was a national television show. It was on NBC. It was a network. You're there.
Consistency and earned trust. The photos date from 2008 to 2012, right in the middle of Meghan's struggling actress period when she was reportedly barely staying afloat in Los Angeles. Yet she appears on luxury yachts in Monaco and Mediterranean locales hosting billionaires and global power brokers, including Saudi and Gulf state figures, who were consistently present. Same locations, same elite circles, same facilitators, long-established bridges between high-level business and influence networks. The alignment is striking, which is why these photos have people asking questions that won't go away. Then, in 2011, Meghan lands Suits, bypassing the traditional Hollywood grind and standard audition pipeline. Industry insiders have long said the connections behind that role were never fully explained, and now these images make that gap louder than ever. The implication: years of quiet, intentional networking with people capable of making calls, opening doors, and moving opportunities behind the scenes. Fast forward to 2016, when Meghan meets Harry through Marcus Anderson and Soho House, and the timeline clicks into place. By then, she had nearly a decade of experience navigating elite circles. She wasn't new to power. She understood influence, presentation, and relationship building. This wasn't luck. This was practice. The newly leaked photos make it unmistakably clear. Meghan wasn't just attending random parties for fun. There's a visible pattern: multiple yachts over multiple years, featuring the same type of high-level international figures again and again. That's not coincidence. That's consistency, and consistency points to strategy, not chance. And here's what everyone is noticing now. These photos didn't leak by accident. Someone waited for the precise moment. When Meghan is pushing a rebrand, rolling out lifestyle products, and streaming Netflix projects to maximize impact, whoever released the images waited until she likely thought those years were safely behind her, until she assumed there was no proof, no new material, no fresh evidence left to emerge. Then, boom, brand new photos nobody had ever seen hit the internet, and that timing sends a message all on its own. It detonated a strategic ripple across the internet as fresh yacht photos of Meghan Markle appeared, and they feel deliberate, not random. This isn't chaos by accident. This feels like warning shots, like someone is quietly saying, "We know more than you think," and they don't need to speak a word to make that point. Every frame screams insider knowledge. Every backdrop suggests someone from elite international circles has grown tired of Meghan's version of events. Maybe it's someone she upset along the way. Maybe it's someone protecting influential families from being dragged into a public storm. Or maybe it's someone who simply believes facts matter more than a carefully polished image. Whatever the motive, the timing and precision of these leaks indicate planning. Fresh yacht photos dropping in January 2026, long after Meghan has left that world, suggest that someone has been playing a patient, long-term game. Someone held onto evidence. Someone waited. Someone picked the exact moment when the impact would be strongest. Here's the reality these images lay bare. Meghan spent years keeping her yacht networking history under wraps. She avoided the topic, brushed off probing questions.
You know, I like to think that Meghan would like that. Meghan likes to be number one. Meghan does not simply degrade Prince Harry. She degrades his entire family, his entire legacy. And this is a different kind of embarrassment. She has mocked his heritage, his traditions, his grandmother, the former Queen of England, and it seems like she did so.
Meghan is a trained actress. What she does is that she studies people. She's not a good actress, but she is a trained one, right? She's been doing it her entire life. And there is no doubt that she studied Princess Diana. She studied her mannerisms towards Harry when he was a boy and the way that she grabs her face. And this is the psychopathic elements of what she does, putting a pregnancy text next to Princess Diana's hair, saying that she put her hands on the grave to have a conversation with her, bursting in.
And framed any criticism as jealousy or baseless attacks from people who didn't like her. But the photos from private collections now tell a different story. They place her exactly where sources had long claimed she was, doing exactly what they described. This is not rumour. This is documentation. And Meghan's response so far, total silence, no explanations, no context, no official statement addressing what the photos reveal, just quiet. While these images circulate across every major platform, that silence speaks volumes. It signals a hope that the storm will pass, that questions will fade, and that people will stop digging into how a struggling actress lived that level of luxury and built those networks. If these photos were harmless or easy to explain, her team would already be out front, giving context, offering clarifications. Here's who invited her, or here's why this was standard professional networking. Instead, there's nothing. Total radio silence. And that silence is deafening. It tells people one thing loud and clear. These yacht photos raise questions Meghan does not want to answer publicly. Let's break down what's in front of us. Brand new yacht photos surfacing in January 2026 show Meghan networking with elite international figures during her struggling actress years. That alone sparks serious curiosity. First question, who funded this lifestyle? Cable TV actresses don't casually attend Mediterranean yacht events with global power figures. Someone covered travel, access, and presence at these exclusive gatherings. So who? Second question, how did she gain entry? You don't just wander into private events with royalty, billionaires, and power brokers. Someone facilitated introductions, vouched for her, and positioned her as worthy of entering those spaces. Who made those calls? Third question, what exactly did these networking relationships involve? The photos show private yachts, small, closed-off gatherings, and ultra-exclusive settings. This wasn't casual mingling at public events. It was professional, high-level networking. How deep did those relationships go? Fourth question, how did these connections feed into her career rise? From struggling actress to landing suits, then later meeting Prince Harry through Soho House, her trajectory seems tied to those early elite introductions. Who opened those doors, and how much influence came from those relationships? The fifth question is the one everyone is whispering about. Who leaked these photos, and why now? These images remained private for over a decade. Suddenly, in January 2026, they're everywhere. That timing isn't random, it's calculated. Someone made a conscious decision to expose this chapter of her past, and the silence surrounding it only fuels the intrigue. These aren't speculative theories, they're real questions triggered by real evidence, and Meghan's silence keeps them alive. The timing of the leak is critical. She's in the middle of a major rebrand. Netflix projects, lifestyle products, a campaign to present herself as authentic, relatable, and inspiring. Then, boom! Evidence emerges of her networking with international elites, evidence of a strategy, wealth, and influence she has never publicly discussed. That evidence challenges the narrative being sold, that her rise is purely self-made. Networking itself isn't wrong, of course, but the optics matter. The story she's presented is one of no advantages, no help, no shortcuts. These photos suggest otherwise. Strategic networking inside elite international circles during her yacht years. That contradicts her self-made narrative and complicates her messaging. The leaks prove that people have been holding onto this evidence for years, patiently watching, waiting for maximum impact. Meghan's narrative has always been fragile, always one leak away from scrutiny. Each new image cracks open a chapter she opted not to discuss, and once out, history doesn't vanish. Then there's the international angle. Middle Eastern royalty and Gulf state power players operate on extreme discretion. What happens on these yachts stays there. That's the unspoken law. If new photos are surfacing, something clearly changed. Protection around this chapter has weakened, and that alone raises red flags. Perhaps her public storytelling clashed with what insiders know privately. Maybe ongoing family controversies made her past too risky to shield. Or perhaps her visibility and polarizing presence made discretion impossible. Whatever the reason, if insiders are now allowing yacht photos and conversations to surface, Meghan has lost a layer of protection that kept this chapter sealed, and that's a serious vulnerability. So, what comes next? What other photos exist? What records remain hidden in private folders? Many insiders suspect these yacht photos are just the opening move. Whoever shared them likely has more. Additional images, travel logs, private invitations, facilitated introductions, and perhaps even first-hand accounts from people who observed her networking strategies firsthand. Meghan's options are limited. She can remain silent and let questions pile up, or speak out and invite scrutiny into every detail. Both choices bring pressure. Her rebrand faces friction. These yacht photos directly challenge her public narrative, testing her credibility on transparency. Fresh evidence has emerged, showing a whole networking chapter she never publicly addressed. and her image is now being analysed from angles she can't fully control. The biggest question remains heavy. Will more evidence come out, or does it stop here? Because these yacht photos already cracked a door she likely wanted sealed shut. Brand new images pulled from private collections dropped in January 2026, shared by someone who clearly knows the full story, someone done protecting silence, someone ready to reveal what Meghan's yacht networking years with international elites actually looked like. Her response so far, still silent. No context, no explanations. Just hope that questions fade while the evidence spreads. That doesn't look like confidence. It looks like waiting out the storm instead of clearing it up. Man, if you're watching this and have thoughts, drop them in the comments below. If this breakdown made you see things differently, hit subscribe and stay locked in for more deep dives like this. Don't forget to like the video and share it with someone who needs to see it.